3, 2, 1. Brain tumor. Over 55. Brain tumor. Bad decisions. Starting over. Let's go. Okay, so this is video number 2. Over 55. Brain tumor. Bad decisions. Let's go. I made a cardinal sin, something that has always bugged me about YouTube that I can't believe I did. Tagline in videos always um, have a description or a title, and they don't ever talk about what the tagline is or the header or whatever you want to call it. I'm new to this stuff, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Like I said, I don't know all the titles. I don't know what to call everything just yet, but I will. But anyhow, so it's been bugging me since I made the first video, and you notice I'm not wearing a mask this time. No more mask. Um, You'll notice my voice is a little bit different. My voice is changing again. I had some issues that I had to go get corrected yesterday, actually. My days are blurring, but I'll explain to you what the issues were momentarily. But anyhow, um, I did not address the what the title of the video was about, and that is really what I'm after here. I did not want to give a sob story. I'm not here for anybody to feel sorry for me or anything like that. This is not a sob story. This is not for victimhood or anything like that. This is just for me to put my story out. Like I said and explained in the first video, I don't really think I need to go back through all that again. But anyhow, my intention is educational. And what I want to do here is I would like to get a group going or people that have been through what I have gone through and that have experienced issues similar or maybe not even similar to mine, but have experienced issues with um, procedures that could be similar to mine or not even. Doesn't matter. We'll all talk about whatever um, for support and for community because people need to speak and people need support. I have basically been alone for some years now, except for one person. I've had one person in my life that I purposely kept at arm's distance and that I uh, purposely kept off and on because I didn't want to be close to anybody. So it was just me mostly going through a good portion of what I went through, but not through the worst of it. This person was there for the worst of it. This person actually got me through the worst of it. This person actually saved me twice um, through through near fatal instances that should have been fatal, but this person caught it and forced me to take action because I'm kind of a stubborn SOB and I wasn't going to do anything about it. And I was very, very close to not making it, but this person forced me. So, and it worked out. I listened to this person, and this person is the only person on this planet that I tend to listen to now. Well, I take that back. There's one other, which I'll get to much later. I'm going to talk about the brain tumor today. That's the purpose of this video today. In 2019, I was diagnosed. No, let me. Sorry, 2019 it was removed. A few years prior, I was diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma. Now, me being me, I've always been Mr. Tough Guy. Don't need anything. I can power through everything. Doesn't matter what's going on. I will make it through it. regardless. But I can power through anything, at least in my mind, because I am the man. I'm Mr. Tough Guy. So anyway, I initially got stuck on a ladder due to vertigo, uh, doing a job. That's how it started. And then not too long after that, took a header into a wall and spent 5 days in a hospital. That's where they found it. And I got diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma that was typically going in the wrong direction towards the brainstem. They initially didn't want to do anything about it at that point. They just wanted to watch it and see what it would do, see what it did, keep an eye on it, see if it changed, anything happened. But me being me, here we go again, Mr. Tough Guy, decided to ignore it and not do anything about it. So I did that. I ignored it, didn't do anything about it. I was tough guy. A few years passed, and then I started to present issues uh, such as falling just out of the blue, just losing my balance and going sideways and falling over. Walking into dark rooms and losing my balance, falling. Getting very dizzy, having unexplainable vertigo all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, vomiting out of nowhere, headaches, unexplained headaches. Now there's some things that go along with that I attributed some of it to, and a lot of the headaches to. Um, is at that point, I was chemically dependent on a lot of different substances for a very long time. I was a heavy drinker, uh, heavy marijuana smoker. Um, I'm not gonna name everything because I don't want to violate any of YouTube's rules or anything like that. But let's just say I was a substance abuser. There was only two types of substances that I did not touch, and in my mind, those two were the worst, and I didn't touch those. But everything else was fair game, especially psychonaut stuff. Oh boy, definitely. So that's what I attributed a lot of the headaches and the dizziness and vomiting to. So that's how I was able to justify it or write it off, however you want to say it. Um, so I continued the pattern, pattern, pattern of ignoring the symptoms, even though I knew at that point what I had. Um, Continued until 2019. 2019, actually 2018, is where it presented to be a serious issue. 2018 became a problem. I was falling uh, pretty regularly and blazing headaches. Um, so it did end up going back to the doctor, and sure enough, it had changed and was doing something it shouldn't do. It's going in the wrong direction. So they recommended that we attack it immediately. And we had already passed the point of any type of non invasive laser treatment, which was due to me or due to the um, lack of action or, you know, however you want to put it. me being lazy or a tough guy or ignoring, however you want to say it. But me ignoring it made me miss the window of something that could have been a lot easier and a lot better. So, February of 2019, I was hospitalized and went in for the surgery. Surgery went well, 8.5 hours. Halo, I was haloed under the knife for 8.5 hours. Came out, came out of surgery. Everything went well. Everything was okay. Um, Seemed to be fine. Everything was okay. Um, During recovery process was a little tough. It was a little rough. During that time, later on in the story, I will tell you what happened in my personal life during this time that was bad. I'll get into that much later. But the recovery process wasn't easy, but it wasn't terrible. It wasn't fun, um, by any means. Um, During the recovery time, a decision was made. Notice the face, to move, to sell everything that I had built, bought, and worked for quite some time, to move across the country during recovery. So that's what I did. I sold everything that I had, sold the cabin that I built, sold my truck, sold my motorcycle, sold a car, sold everything, sold it all, sold everything we had. And I say we, um, packed everything up, got rid of most everything that we had. So got a pod. This will tell you how much we had left. Got a 10 by 10 pod, packed it from floor to ceiling, wall to wall, shipped it across country. That's what we had. Um, I went and bought a Chrysler 300C with a Hemi, which I'm very glad I did. Still glad I did, even though I have dropped a buttload of money in it. I've made it a lot better, I might add. Um, and we packed up the car with what we needed to travel. We had, at the time, 3 puppy dogs. We had a mom and dad dog and a puppy, their puppy. And we took our time. We took, think it was 5 days, 5 or 6 days. And we drove from, I'll say it, Louisiana to Nevada. And that's where we moved to. We moved to Las Vegas. And during the time there, or shortly after in Las Vegas, I developed seizures. Uh, uh, Initially, the seizures were they presented only on the right side of my body, which would make sense, which did make sense and still do, because the left side of my brain was the side that was the surgery was performed on. Um, so the right side of my body was the side that was being attacked by the seizures initially, and at the time. Now, I do have to get into a little bit of the personal story here because it does go along with the brain tumor stuff. Um, this kind of explains why and what happens next in the story with the brain tumor. So I have to get back into the personal story just a little bit. But I'm not going to get into it too deep. I don't want to be sappy with it. I want to stay in the medical side of things today. So I want people to be aware, and I would like to talk to others that may have issues still. I want to continue this. I would like to learn more, and I would like for others to, I mean, possibly learn from what I've been through. I'd like to learn from what they've been through. So anyway, after after I developed the seizure, the very first one, my wife was present for. She saw it happen. I was right in front of her when it happened. We were in the living room, and luckily I was standing in front of the couch when it presented, and she was standing about 10 feet in front of me, and it presented, and of course, I lost control, so I basically fell back onto the couch and had to had to lay there until it ran its course. She backed away. I don't know if it was from fear or what. I really don't know what it was. I have no clue. But she backed away and didn't come close. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I felt it in my gut immediately. As soon as I saw her back away and I saw that happen, I felt it in my gut immediately that I knew something was wrong, something was about to change. I was right. So the seizures after that very first one, the seizures started coming on like rock stars. It was not constant, but they were happening frequently, to say the least. Now, I would have no clue when they were coming because I wasn't used to the sensations at that time. I didn't know what I was feeling. Now I can feel them. I know when they're coming. And if anybody else, please, I haven't talked to anybody that has seizures. Please, please reach out. Let me know if you have the same thing. I've told doctors this, and they're like, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah." But I want to hear from somebody else. I want to hear from a patient. Do you feel it? Do you actually feel that 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 feeling coming on like I do? I really need to know if I'm just flipping nuts. Anyway, um, so they started coming on like gangbusters. And at the time, like I said, we had puppy dogs, but by this time, the mom and daddy dog produced two more puppies. So we had five puppies in total, two little ones. So we had puppy pads all over the place. Not all over the place, but we had puppy pads, and they were pretty good about it. I was training them pretty well. I was the one that did most of the puppy care. I was the one that took care of the puppy dogs mostly. Not all the time, but most of the time. I was the one that did I was the house husband because I wasn't working, so I was the one that did most of the house stuff. I did all the housework, I did a lot of the cooking, I did all of the cleaning. I was the only one that did the cleaning. Um, took care of the puppy dogs. And the reason why I mention that in the puppy pads is because the seizures were getting so bad that there were times that I was coming to face down in puppy pads with not a flippin' clue as to what happened. Didn't know. I didn't know I had seized until I woke up in a puppy pad. Didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. All that was new to me. I had no clue. So Went to the doctors, told them what was going on. Um, got put on uh, some pretty heavy duty seizure meds right off the bat, right away. Um, got seizures sort of under control pretty quickly. But it took a little while. It took a little bit of trial and error to get the right medication, to get the medications right. But we did eventually get it right. Um, now, now I'm good with the seizures as long as I take my medication the way I'm supposed to. That's a story, another story. That'll be much later on. Um, as long as I take everything the way I'm supposed to, everything stays the way it needs to stay. So that's good to go. After some time of having some pretty serious heavy duty problems, some heavy duty seizures, and some issues, and some things coming to light on both sides, um, it was time to part ways. She told me she wanted me to go, and that was all she had to say. She said I had to go. I said, okay, bye. I wasn't quite that nice about it, but I didn't fight. Said, you got to go. I said, okay, see ya. Went home, started packing what I wanted to pack, and I didn't see her again. And I still haven't seen her. And that's the way I want to keep it. All right. So, 4 days after that, now bear in mind, seizures are still happening. They're under control, but I still have them. I pack my car up and I drive around the country for several weeks at this point. Not smart, pretty stupid, actually. Couldn't see straight, sick as hell, not taking care of myself, drinking like a fish, alcoholic. Yes, alcoholic, seizing, smart, real smart. Um, brain tumor recovery, deaf, can't walk straight as is, and I'm drunk most of the time. So, wasn't the smartest person on the planet. Still not, by the way. Probably, well, not probably. I never will be. Um, so I drove around the country for a few weeks. Didn't know what the hell I was gonna do. Had no plan. Didn't know where to go. Had nowhere to go. Uh, being a full grown adult male, I did not want to call daddy. Hey, daddy, can I come live with you, please? But that's what I had to do. I was sick. So I didn't have a choice. So a few weeks in, I did that. And that's shortly thereafter, that's where my savior came in. Savior, say hi. So that's where my savior came in and mm, went went from there. I ended up taking a room at her place. Uh Not long after that, I would say probably 6 months after that, I thought I had a sinus infection. I started dripping like a sinus infection. I thought it was just a every so often I'd have a little like a little runny nose, a little drip, wipe it off. No big deal. Go on, do my thing. I was out on her property at the time, taking care of the horses, building something, cutting the yard, doing something. I was doing something, and it just all of a sudden it was like a stream. It's like, what is that? Why is that happening? I'll wipe it off. Go on some there's a little bit now, which I will explain in a minute. Anyway, I wipe it off and I go on. Didn't really think much about it and continued on, and no big deal, right? I was wrong. Uh Maybe a few days after that. I'm really not clear on the timing because I have forgotten a lot about this time, and I can't remember a lot about this time because a lot of it turned into a blur for me. A few days after that, it turned into a full blown faucet. I could bend over 15 to 20 degrees and it would turn into like a water hose coming out of my nostrils, mostly the left side. So I went and told, um, for now, we're gonna say my friend. That's how we'll address her. We'll say my friend for now. I went and told my friend what was going on, and it confused and worried her. But I still wasn't really concerned about it because I'm still me. I'm not going to be concerned about me. It just doesn't happen that way. I just don't. I don't get concerned about me. The only way I'm going to be concerned about me is when I start seeing red fluid pouring out of me that I can't stop. That's when I'll start getting concerned. So, a couple days after that, I started turning gray, like alien gray. That color, that shade. Didn't realize what was going on at the time. Didn't really have a clue. So we started researching what was happening, and that's when we discovered, uh-oh, this is something serious. So we pack it up and go to the doctor. And immediately make everybody, well, actually, we had two reactions from the staff, from the doctors and the nurses. We had two reactions. We had fascination and we had fear. The first reaction was fascination. They wanted to see it because it was a party trick. They wanted to see me bend over. They wanted to see it happen. So I did several test tubes. Not all the way full, but they wanted to see me do it. So they'd go get a test tube and I'd bend over and they'd put it under my nose and I'd give them a little bit. They'd collect a little bit. They'd go get nurses from other departments and doctors from other departments. They'd come in and look at it and eyeball me and just see it, just to witness it, I guess. After a little bit of time of playing with the new monkey on the circus, they decided, okay, let's get him into surgery. So they did. They got me in surgery. Halo again. Here we go. Yay. Haloed. CSF repair. I blew the blood patches out behind my eyes. They had to go in and repair, which was a nightmare. I had also developed during the time of having the CSF, it had, gone through my cranium and basically just destroyed everything on the left side. It had destroyed the inner ear, uh, the bones, everything in between. So everything was just basically ate up, and it was about to start pouring out of my ear as well. Um, but during that time, that had also caused me to develop bacterial spinal meningitis, which was extremely painful and sickening. Um, so it was rough. That was pretty bad. But I spent some time in the neuro ICU after that. But the worst part of that entire ordeal for me, and I would like to hear from somebody else, besides the recovery process, because I'm going to get into the recovery process as well. But the uh the shunt, the shunt placement. When I woke up from having the shunt installed, now, I've also in my life I have broken my back. I've dealt with some very intense pain, very significant pain. But let me tell you, the pain that I experienced from the shunt being installed, there is nothing that compares to that. Now they told me before they that they before they did that, that it wouldn't hurt that bad. It's just an incision, because they were gonna put the shunt up here, and I asked them to not do that because I do shave my head. I'm not that vain. I've got a little bit of vanity, but not I'm not terrible with it. But I didn't want to have that thing in the front of my head. So I asked him to put it in the back if he could, and he did. He was able to. So he put it in the back here. But he told me that the pain would be negligible, basically, because there's no nerve endings in the brain, right? Okay, doc. Let's put one in you. Let's see. Let's stick one in your brain and see how you feel. So I'm not trying to be mean. I know that came across as being kind of shitty right there. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean it that way. I'm very happy with all of my doctors. My doctors have treated me very well. This is beyond the experience of the pain and the recovery and things not going the way they were supposed to go, which I will get into, because I'm not the way I was supposed to be. But it's okay. I'm still alive for now. Um, I had a port. Had to have a port. Um, had a port in my chest. Now, when I was in neuro ICU, this is something that I every time I talk about this, which is not often. I do not talk about this often. I don't talk about my experience with anything really to anybody, because I don't talk. I don't have anybody to talk to, and that's by design. I don't talk. Um, when I was in neuro ICU, I was the only one on that floor that could speak. Think about that. Here I am complaining about this thing they just shoved in my head. and I can still complain. Nobody else there could. That was that was rough. When when the nurse told me that I was the only one on the floor that could speak, that hit me like a ton of freaking bricks, man. That was the hardest part of my life. It was at that very moment, and this is part of the reason why that has stuck with me for the longest time. And I have never verbalized this, ever. It was at that very moment when she told me that the weight of everything that I had lost over the past few years up to that point had hit me. It just hit me all at once. And I felt so selfish, childish, stupid. But it was a very um, emotional. Um, I don't know how to explain it really. It was I really don't know how to explain it. So I'm just gonna drop it right there. I'm gonna stop right there about that part. Is that part that it just that gets a little too nasty. It goes a little too deep, a little too much. So we'll stop there. I get released from neuro ICU after some time there. Come back to my friend's place, and I am bedridden for quite some time. I have a port in my chest. I have a nurse that has to come daily and give me antibiotics and check me and make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to do and healing the way it's supposed to be. Um, this recovery uh did not go the way I wanted it to. Now, according to the doctors and everybody else, it was going okay. So therefore it's fine, right? Right. It's going the way it's supposed to. So I'm fine. I didn't think I was fine. I didn't feel fine. Um, Now, when they went in to repair the CSF, they had to take everything out of my inner ear on the left hand side. They had to take the entire bone structure, the vestibular system. They had to take everything out. Everything had to come out because the CSF, the spinal fluid, had basically eaten it all up and destroyed it. so they had to get rid of it. They had to basically delete it, take it out. So they took it out, and yeah, they had to close up my ear canal, and that's it's kind of rare. There's quite a few folks. And speaking of which, folks, if if you've had your ear canal closed up, you only have one ear, you've had it one closed up, please talk to me. Please let me know. I got a lot of questions, especially if you're male and you're older. Please talk to me because I definitely got a lot of questions. And you might know where I'm going with this. Think about hair. I got we got to talk. So, anyway, folks, I think I am going to cut the video right there, and I will make another one either tomorrow or the day after. If you like it, if anybody likes it, and if I start hearing back from some folks that's had some brain tumor issues, CSF, if you are deaf, if you have vertigo issues, if you have any type of brain issues that causes you mobility problems, speech problems, vision problems, hearing problems, anything at all, vertigo, I anything. Let's talk. We need to talk. We need to get a community going. We need to support each other and talk to each other. I can't do this. We need folks. I'll put it that way. So I got a lot to talk about, and I do want to keep going. I do want to tell more. I'm gonna try not to get too personal over the next few videos. I want to stay with the medical stuff. I'm going to get deeper with that and explain exactly what was done and what's going on now. The reason why my voice keeps changing, why I sound scratchy, and why I don't at times is because I am still leaking, not as severe. I still have a drip, and it is going down the back of my throat and sometimes out my nose, very slightly out my nose. It just depends on what I'm doing. But it goes down my throat for the most part, and that's what's causing my voice to change like it does. It sounds scratchy, raspy, or just nasty at times. That's why. That's why I sound the way I do. So hopefully, after yesterday, after yesterday, over the next few days, that will clear up and I will get my voice, my normal speaking voice back, which is a little bit better. I don't have a great speaking voice, but it's not terrible. So that's where I'm going to end it for today. And over the next few days, especially if I start hearing back from you guys, which I hope I do. And like I explained before, if it flops, that's fine. If it takes off, that's great. I am not in this to try and become some YouTube rock star. That's not what I'm here for. I am here to talk about what I went through and to hopefully learn from you guys, people that have actually gone through this before, um, that have a little bit, that have more experience with it than me. 'Cause I'm only 5 years deep in it. This isn't fun. I'm basically still in recovery, and I'm still having issues. So that's all I got. Let's talk. Pitter pat.